We're live, at least on Facebook anyway.
Now we're live.
So here we go.
Hello.
Live on both. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are we doing? Let's find us on the phone. Switch your volumes up, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we? That's it. Oh yeah, I can see it's giving a good picture there. So, back to the grind again. We chat's too much for some people, but that's the way it's going to be. And it's going to get worse because we're going to talk even more. We're going to hit some subjects eventually that people really won't like.
These are just soft subjects.
So yeah, there's a lot more to say. We're just taking our time.
I find not to say because I think, well, now let me just shut up and let me leave it for another time, or let me leave it for another subject. So
Like some of the things, I don't know who that was. But so last week we spoke quite a bit about the fight for Africa, and we mainly spoke from the perspective of I think we did touch a little bit on the Chinese, but we're going to talk about them a lot more today. We're going to talk about the British element. Oh, we spoke a lot about the French and French-speaking Africa and what they've done and what they have been doing and what's still happening. We spoke a little bit also about Africans themselves and what they're doing to each other, because that's also part of the corruption issue, is really what Africans do to each other. Let me just bend this a bit and see if it helps. How's that? A little bit better, isn't it? So, as far as the issue about Africans and what they do to each other, let me just make mention of a couple of things on that level. And when I say Africans, we're not just talking about the continent of Africa. I'm talking about the Caribbean and so forth, because they're still African anyway. At least your skin colour denotes that. So that is also part of the issue, like Jamaica, where we are from, and which purports to be independent. I watched just a little bit of the Jamaica independence recently, and I was really surprised, at how they did it. It was the independence is the 6th of August, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And I watched online, and the first person to come on was the Prime Minister. Was escorted with a couple of cars, came on, and then the next person is the Governor General. So I thought, okay, then obviously the Prime Minister of Jamaica should be the head of the armed forces, etc. But they said he's the Minister of Defence. Oh, it's interesting. So anyway, I'll continue watching. So yeah, the Prime Minister is the Minister of Defence. And then they addressed everything to the Governor General, who's the representative of Queen Elizabeth of Great Britain. So I watched all that. They asked him for permission to begin the parade. They asked him for permission to continue with the proceedings. And he was the first person to go and inspect the guard. So I thought the Prime Minister was in charge of the army. But now, you see, I read somewhere else as well, and I thought it's interesting, isn't it, that really the Jamaican Defence Force is there for the British. It's not actually there under the Prime Minister, it's under the Governor General. So this is the whole issue that we have about independence. That these places where we think that there is independence from the British, from the French, from the colonizers, as it were. It's actually not the case if you look a little deeper. And now I know, as I could tell from last time, from conversation and just from reading from the views and so forth, that it's something that a lot of people are really not interested in. They think it doesn't, what relevance does it have to be? Who cares?
Yeah.
And I think that's the sad part, that they don't realize that it does have a relevance. And as time progresses, that relevance as to why it's relevant for you is going to become more and more obvious. And I think that is the issue that people need to understand, that there is a reason why they're fighting for what Africa has. They want what Africa has, but they don't want you. They like what's in Africa, but they don't like you. And if they like you, they only like you when they can control you. Right? So that's what we've got to understand. And if you don't have usefulness to them, then just it's another story. And that's whether it's Chinese or whoever, because I remember some years ago people were busy saying, let's get rid of the British and let's have the Chinese. Let's have the Chinese.
Yeah, we prefer to have them. That's
And
what
yeah, there's a lot of people in Africa were saying that. Yeah, let's get rid of the British. I would prefer to have the Chinese.
So why do you need that ego?
And I think they didn't realise and they didn't understand what it meant to have the Chinese, and not to really understand what it would be to have none of them.
Yeah.
And I think this is the problem. This is probably not what we're going to talk about today, because it's probably, well, not probably, I would say it's another conversation in itself as to what are some of the things that Africa would need to do in order to raise itself to the level that it needs to. But one of the issues, I suppose, that we would touch on is the issue of corruption. Because if we beat the corruption across Africa in general, and when we say corruption, we're talking about African leaders, politicians, ex-politicians, kings, who are extremely corrupt in their behavior, and they are the ones who actually allow the countries to be denigrated, and then blame it on the colonizers. This is because of colonization, this is because we didn't get this is because we didn't get that. And actually, that's not even the truth. It really doesn't have much to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that you've got corrupt politicians, in Africa, who are paying themselves more than politicians in Europe and USA. They're paying themselves as if they live in first world countries, where they are in developing countries. They pay themselves absolutely everything. Every expense under the sun, they pay themselves, and it's as though they have no mercy on the people who they actually are supposed to be serving. So, you find that 99% of African politicians go into power to eat. And they make sure, or want to make sure, that by the time they finish from power, whenever that may be, 10 years, 15 years, or whatever, that they have eaten well from the country, and that they've put their money aside, that they have a big house, and that they have money set elsewhere, and they are very comfortable. And that's their real reason for being in politics. They've not gone into politics looking at the oppression that black people have suffered over the years historically until now, and they're not looking to uplift the people of the country. They're not looking to uplift themselves. They're not looking to uplift the country in general. They're not looking to break the cycle of oppression and corruption that has been both the fault of the white man and the black man. Let me say, it's not just the white man alone; it's been both, and they've not actually bothered to look at that, to break that cycle of corruption. They just want power and leadership. I come into power, let me make money. I come into power, let me just be a leader to line my own pockets and to satisfy myself. So it's all about self-satisfaction, and it's not about helping, blessing, or uplifting their country in general. And this is the problem. As I said, I do know from engagement that we have on other posts that it's one of the subjects that people don't want to discuss. They're just like, oh, what does that have to do with me? And they leave it. And so you can see even that, even the tuning in of the numbers.
Yeah, the tuning in is low.
Because of that. And even, yeah, but it's
probably thinking, oh, why are they doing part again? That's right. Boy, like I said,
because they feel like last time we spoke enough about it, and they think like, well, we heard you. Like, they're saying we heard you. That's what a lot of people will say. Because I'm telling you, I remember a while ago when I was in Kenya, and by that time they were sort of discussing about getting more involved with the Chinese. For one, and we'll talk about them in a bit more detail.
2012.
Yeah, 2012, those sort of time. And I remember talking to several Kenyans, which it actually surprised me. You came from Britain. You're British. I said, nah, I'm a Jamaican. Don't fool yourself. But okay, but you live in Britain. I said, yeah, I do live in Britain. Sir, leave the British out of it. We don't want them anymore. The British have been colonizers. The British are arrogant. The British have done this. The British have done. I said, okay. I said, cool. I said, none of what you're saying is necessarily a lie, right? I said, but now leave the British out of it. Then I said, and tell me what the Chinese. Yes, the Chinese are coming to build roads, and the Chinese are going to do this for us, and the Chinese are going to do that.
What roads?
Chinese are going to build roads. Now, in the case of Kenya. As you know, as I spoke last week, yeah, they did. They did. Because it's for their own benefit.
Yeah, so that they can then
you see, because then now, like in the case of Kenya, when they couldn't afford to pay, they take over the port of Mombasa.
Yeah.
Right. So they have an agenda at the end of all of this, which I'm going to read some statistical information about that after a while. And for all those people. And okay, because as well, we know that mainly it will be black people who may or may not tune into this. Oh, Africa, I'm not interested. I don't live there, and I'm not living there. So they don't get it.
This is the issue.
They don't get it.
No, they don't get it.
But anyway, Tamar, go ahead. I'm coming.
Well, I ain't got too much to say today, to be honest. Like, I do have things to say, but I think, yeah, I've got a bit about the Chinese.
I'm the British.
British, that one's an easier one.
I'm coming.
That's an easier subject to tackle. The China one, that's a bit harder because they're quite sly as well. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're one like them nice.
Yeah, they're sly. They're sly in it, so they've been doing things for a long time. Just like I found this article when I was just doing the research. Yeah, and this is actually a BBC article, and the title, I know, and the title is Chinese Colonialism ? I don't know why there's a question mark. I know. Anyway.
Because it is.
And then the heading is China becoming Africa's new colonial master? Is Beijing sucking away resources to drive its own economic growth while offering little in return? Then it goes on to go to the next paragraph. It says, or is such talk the product of fear? Is such talk the product of fear and envy? Is it a sign of Western anxieties that China is fast becoming the new power in Africa, building more equal relationships and undermining Western influence on the continent? So what we see in this article is right that nobody is sorry about colonizing Africa. No. That article's not saying, oh, it's bad. Why are China?
They're just questioning it.
They're saying, why are they doing it when we were doing it? And that's what we want to do, and that's what we were on. They need to come out of there because they're going to overtake us.
They're in our way.
Got more money and power. That's all that the Western countries are thinking. Like, nah, we can't have China coming into Africa because there'll be nothing left. Yeah, and that's what they're thinking.
Exactly, because they're all there for the same reason.
Yeah, they're all there for the same
To
reason.
drill out the resources.
Drill out the resources, and that's what China have been doing for so long now. Everywhere. I keep saying this. People need to realize, right? The fact is, they are a communist country. So why do people not fear China the same way they want to fear Russia? I'll tell you why. Because of the media. Because you're all fools. Yeah, that's why. I don't even care. You're all fools. Because you watch the media and say, oh, Putin is this, Putin is that, Russia is this, Russia is that, scary, scary,
And they think China is better.
And then China's all right then. Oh, China's fine, it's just racist. Is that really the only issue going on in China? Do people even know about the Hong Kong independence fight and all of that? Probably not. Yeah, because once again, the same, how there was riots here, the riots didn't even start because of Black Lives Matter. They were already long time going on in Hong Kong. Yeah, and that was because Hong Kong doesn't want to be in a, what you call it?
They don't want to be
They don't want to be, they don't want to be part of
They wanted
China's
to stay part of
jurisdiction.
Britain
Yeah.
or be independent.
Yeah, they want to be Britain or independent because obviously everybody that's lived in Hong Kong has realized the serious benefits and the better life that they have compared to the mainland Chinese people. Yeah, they all go to better schools, they get to travel more and all
More
these
freely,
things. Yeah, more freedom,
openly.
yeah. They can use,
Much less
Facebook,
restrictions on what they can do.
yeah, they can actually search online. They're not getting killed for their political views. Because that's what they're doing out there as well in China.
Taiwan now as well.
Yeah.
Taiwan now belongs to China.
What it was, we had a student, and she lived with us for like a couple of years, and she was from Hong Kong, and she was telling me about how they had these little, what do you call it, social medias, but it's their own version of it, which are monitored by the government. And a boy put on there some little message, basically saying, like some kind of thing like funny government, basically. That's what he was on, yeah. And then next minute, he's dead. Yeah, this is how they're going on there. And people think, oh, China are they're trying to help everyone. That's why that's why they make the stuff, and that's why they do this, and that's why they do that.
No, but that's what they're trying to bring over here. They don't want no one to have their own mind.
Hi, Trevor.
Hi, Trevor. Yeah, they're.
They want to control your mind.
Yeah, they do want to control your mind. Of course they do. What was I saying now?
What's their point? Freedom of speech. They don't want you to have freedom of speech.
Yeah, well, no, they don't want you to have freedom.
Yeah, the Chinese.
Yeah, the Chinese. Yeah, they don't want people to have freedom of speech. They don't want to have freedom of thought, or they don't want them to have. They want them to be little robots. Industry, it's all about the industry, making the money, getting a good job, and having the one child, just to carry on the line. That is all that's about. If there's more than one child, then it's getting too much, and you're not focusing on your work enough, and all these things. And that's why in these places like China, they've got an issue now. Yeah, that's why they're trying to branch out everywhere else. They have an issue. There are so many. What do you call them? It's not bachelors. Is it bachelors?
What guys who are not married?
Yeah, bachelors. Yeah, unmarried men, bachelors, old men. Yeah, and there's even a little group, right? Because I was watching a documentary about it. There's even a little group where these mothers come together and meet because they're looking for wives or husbands, but like mostly it's women, mums looking for the son. They're looking for wives for their sons. So they all meet at this point, and then they obviously talk, and whoever they like each other, then they give the children's phone numbers and stuff to try and encourage people to date. Because when you ask people in China as well, about the dating and that, they're interested. Yeah. Oh, what about having the family, the children? Nah.
Yeah.
They're not interested. They don't want that. They'll date, but they're not interested in the marriage and the children. Why? because they know they're thinking about their career or too much already. That's what they've been programmed. Yeah, they've been programmed to think, oh, family second, work and career first. So they'll work themselves to death and never have no children, no nothing. And that's good enough for them.
And because they're restricted anyway on to only having one.
Yeah.
Or they
Well,
have
that's
to
what they
pay
said
the
that
government
they-
if they want more than one.
Yeah, the government said that they're going to change it to 2 now. So you can have 2, and that's all right now. But why have they done that? Like I said, because the population is decreasing more and more every single year on serious levels. And then nobody is building it back up because none of the young people are having children, and all the older people, there's no one for them to marry. Because remember, when they only had one child, people were killing off the female children. Yeah, killing them off, aborting them off, or flinging them off to some adoption company to go off to next countries and all these types of things.
And keeping only the males.
Yeah, keeping only the males. So then now there's too many men and there's no women there that are old. Everybody, all the women are gone.
It's true, and it is a fact that in some years to come they're going to have an overwhelming amount of homosexual males in China. That's 100%
Because
fact.
it's already started as well. That's what they were saying about how now there's more homosexual business going on because there's not enough so many men, and it's just been normalized to, like I said, nobody cares about their relationship. No one ain't interested in that. They just want to get on with their work and go home to their tiny ass apartment and enjoy their little crusty life that they think is enjoying their life. That's what they have to believe that.
So that's it, and that's why then those Chinese men who have the opportunity to go and work in Africa, they're very happy to go. They go and start working in Africa and making Chinese African babies and leaving them behind there with African women.
Yeah. And the same in Jamaica and all them places there. Every place you go, you cannot, even where my family is from in Italy, there's a Chinese shop there. And if you knew where we were from, then you'd understand that it's crazy because that place is like some
where they're from is what you would like call the bush.
Yeah, the bush
in Italy.
In Italy, basically.
Right? And Chinese men have found their way
and
out
they've got
there.
a shop there because we go to that Chinese shop. I remember we say, "Oh, where did you get that?" Yeah, the Chinese shop.
When these guys told me about it, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, the Chinese shop, and it sells all the things, the clothes, and then like the little, all them little things that get made in China, like fans and all that type of stuff. It sells everything. It's like a general store. Yeah, it's like one of them general stores. These people why do you think they're bringing themselves into everywhere? People need to remember when a country is communist, the same
they have a social and political agenda.
Yes, that's working 24/7. 365 all day, every day. Every movement, every person, every decision.
To bring it everywhere.
To get them everywhere. All over the world. And that's what they've done. That's why they've allowed people, go off and start your business there. Go off and study there. Go off and do that. You think every person that's coming here is a real student? I highly doubt it. There must be so many spies. And we ain't even clued up.
No, they're all over. They just come in. Oh, I'm coming to study.
Yeah.
We had a boy, a young man, I should say, wasn't a boy. That guy came and stayed in our house as a so-called language student. And I don't know until today which English he was learning, because he didn't learn any from me. He didn't learn any from anybody else in the house, and he certainly wasn't learning any in the college. My man was coming, he was drinking vodka, doing all kinds of different things and just enjoying himself. And who knows what agenda he may really have been given while he came to the UK. And he spent like a year.
He was here for time.
He was here for a long time. And every day he was out busy doing something.
Yeah.
Now,
going to school.
Conspiracy theorists will be telling me that I got a problem. I see everything. I see demons everywhere. Well, I see demons everywhere because guess what? They are everywhere. So that's why I see them everywhere.
Why is everything demonic to you?
Because it is. Because it is.
What more is there to
That's why I see them everywhere, because they actually are everywhere. And my African brothers and sisters, make no mistake, these Chinese people do not like you. Don't fool yourself. You might know it from the point of view of when we go to China and we see how they treat black people and the Africans in China. But irrespective of that, even when they come to where you are, they don't like you. You see, and that's what you've got to remember. I can give you, we've hosted language students for years. We don't now at the moment, but we have done it for years. And I remember one student, she was not at the house, but this was, so she turned around and she said, I've never seen a black person face to face. I've only seen them on TV. And she was very busy looking at me.
Yeah, did we want to
And I'm asking her, what do you think's going to happen? I said to her, do you think something's going to rub off when you rub me like that? And she was just laughing. Now, I didn't really care. It didn't bother me because I'm very confident in who I am and how I am. But if you now, as a black man, did that to the Chinese woman, you'd have such a big issue.
Yeah.
You see? And she's like, no, we were told in China that black people are bad and that we shouldn't be friendly with black people, we shouldn't have a black boyfriend, and we shouldn't marry a black man.
Yeah.
And I said, Now this is what you've got to understand, that's what they're told, right? And Chinese don't realize so that they have my blood in them. That's why they look how they look. Right? Because they're bleaching themselves all the time. Right? But leave aside all of that because we don't care. Those of us who are confident and understand who we are, we know who we are. So we know that the issue is not for us, the issue is for them. And this is why we're talking about things the way we are. Because the fight is not us fighting them, but it's them fighting us. Because they want what we have, including our color. You see? Because that's why there's so many, and it's mainly, so many that go to, what do they call them places? Tanning salons and all this, because they want to look like us. But they want everything on their terms. So I'm going to tell you some information about the British and their behavior in Africa. And I'm not talking about slavery. Forget that. We've gone past that. So let's move forward from slavery and let's look at what's going on currently. British companies in Africa control mineral resources, notably gold, platinum, diamonds, copper, oil, gas, and coal. So, a quick look on the London Stock Exchange can give you some of this information, just in case you think John Chambers makes up stories. And you'll have to read what Trevor put in because I can't see. Yeah, so here, let me give you 101 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange. Most of them were British. They have mining operations in 37 sub-Saharan African countries. And listen to this. This will blow your mind. Collectively, those companies in Africa control over 1.05 trillion US dollars worth of Africa's most valuable resources. And that's in just 5 commodities: oil, gold, diamonds, coal, and platinum. I'm going to repeat that because I think people need to hear it very clearly. 1.05 trillion US dollars controlled by British companies who have got their fingers, their feet, their noses, their toes, their backside and every other part in Africa. And they are controlling 1.05 trillion US dollars. Make no mistake, for those who think that Africa is poor, and they talk about the poverty of Africa, etc., etc. There is no such thing. Africa is not poor. Africa is not in poverty. Africa is rich. Africa is well resourced. African people are rich. African people are well resourced, but they're being robbed. And this is the issue. What has Trevor said there?
He said they don't like you, they hate you. They love zoonotic food that gives them zoonotic diseases. We order their foods and don't understand their food is anything. We must stop shopping with them and eating dog meat or whatever they give you in exchange for your money.
That's the Chinese. Yeah.
Yeah, when your cat, rat, and dog goes missing, blame the Southeast Asians that eat anything, literally.
But they do. We know that they do.
Yeah, we do.
And trust me, Trevor, we're coming back on the Chinese in a bit. We started on them a bit before you came on, but we're coming back to them. We're coming back to them. I've got some things to say about them and their behaviour in Africa. But now the British, because a lot of people seem to have I don't know. It's like they've slept on this. I don't know. It's probably the best way I can put it, but people have gone to sleep on this whole issue of what the British are doing in Africa. Because what are they there for? You see, ask yourself that question. What are they there for? Oh, they're there helping Africa. Okay.
Why they're not helping Brazil? Why they're not helping all them other places where it's brought down desolate and the resources are getting drained? If that's the case,
here's the issue. If they're in Africa helping, I would like them to explain to me how they're helping. Because when they're controlling 1.05 trillion is not a small figure. That's a ginormous amount of money. And they are controlling it. And well, let me read on and give you more information. Then you make your own conclusions. And like I said, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this information. They're like, we don't care. Well, it's okay because maybe today you don't care, but in a few years down the road, when things become worse, you're going to remember that we told you to open your eyes before it's too late, and support your own people, support people who look like you and behave like you and think like you. And this is really what it's about. This is what we need to understand. Right? I live right here in Britain, but it doesn't mean that I'm blind to what the British have done and are doing.
Naughty British.
Right? So now, 6.6 billion barrels of oil. Listen, this is what they control. Let this shock you, because it's not a joke. 6.6 billion barrels of oil, currently worth 276 billion US dollars. 79.5 million ounces of gold. Shall I repeat that? 79.5 million ounces of gold worth 119 billion US dollars. 699.3 million carats of diamonds worth 134 billion US dollars. 3.6 billion tons of coal worth 216 billion US dollars. 287 million ounces of platinum worth 305 billion US dollars. In addition, these 101 companies also control large amounts of gas, copper, cobalt, silver, and other resources. So now listen, they say that they are helping the economic development of Africa. I'm not sure what you said there.
He said they're into land rape, steal everything with the mission.
Of course. So here's what they say, the UK instead. They're helping Africa economically. Economic development, right? Which is basically, it's a mere continuation of colonialism.
Yeah.
They've said that 134 billion US dollars has flowed into the continent each year in the form of loans, foreign investment, and aid. All right, let me just stop there for a minute. Three words that we've used there. They've said, because what they do is they try to bamboozle people with figures, and then maybe when they'll go to some farmer who doesn't read or write somewhere and they'll tell him, we are helping Africa, we have sent $134 billion worth of, but listen to what they've called it. Loans, foreign investment, and aid. Of those three, the only one that will be of any use to the country is aid, possibly. Yeah. Loans are of no use because they're high interest and they have to be paid back, and they have to be paid back for money which they don't have.
Yeah.
Foreign investment simply means that a British man comes and invests in a business in Africa, but he's the CEO of the business. He controls the profit of the business, and when the profit comes in that business, he takes it out of the country. Right? And all of the people who work for him are local people who are paid at minimum local wages. All right? And that's what they're calling foreign investment. So when the company begins to make, as it were, a large and substantial profit, they remove it from the country, and it does not benefit that African country. Now, listen to the figures that matter. They put 134 billion into Africa, and remember, some of it is in the form of loans. It's not all money that they're actually giving. Listen to the amount that they steal. Listen, just someone. 192 billion US dollars every year comes out of Africa in profits by foreign companies, tax dodging, and the cost of adapting to so-called climate change.
What climate change?
So every year, Africa, because of the UK, has a net loss. You see, it's done it again.
It's hiding your notes. It keeps Apple. Stop playing games. Yeah, we ain't here for your games. Trevor said 500 billion leaves the continent every year to service the loans to Europe.
That's right. And there is a deficit.
Yeah, that's
every year. Every year.
More leaving than going in. Disgusting. Right, you know what you have to do? Close the there. Yeah, because it sends it to delete it. They think, why are you deleting it? You think you're funny, you're not funny. You know.
Hold this mic. Let me sort this out.
They're all
because I didn't send it to no delete, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I told you. That's
Siri, mind your damn business.
Sending my things to delete it. Why are you sending it to the deleted section when I never deleted it? I don't think it's a coincidence that it's happened to me twice, and now it's happened to my dad twice. You ain't fooling us. So many things I see now and I think, oh, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You're not fooling me. I'm not asleep. Try again.
I don't want to see that thing about Obama.
Right.
Anybody's listening to Kanye and West is no. Oh, whatever John goes to. You don't even speak the same stuff.
Anybody is listening.
What's that?
Oh, you said do the maths, more leaving than going.
That's right. That's the point there. There's definitely more leaving than there is going in, and they lie. So let me give you some more, because the British try to act as if they're very nice in what they're doing. You see, so let me just talk about what's actually going on. And this thing, leave my notes, man. Sure. British mining companies have been at the forefront of environmental degradation in Africa. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that they have got programs where they are killing people and basically then turning around and giving the families peanuts as compensation, saying, oh, we're sorry that your family member has lost 2 of his arms, 2 of his legs, blah, 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 they've been blown up, etc. They give them next to nothing. Then they're degrading the area, they're killing the plants, they're killing the wildlife, and at the end of the day, it's all for profit. Now, on top of that, they do not leave the money in Africa. And when I say Africa, I'm talking about Africa as a continent, not just any one particular country of Africa, right? But I'm talking about Africa as a continent because they're doing the same thing all across Africa. South Africa, for instance, let me give you some statistical information about a few of the countries. South Africa is rich in natural resources and is the world's largest producer of platinum. Bear that in mind, the largest producer in the world of platinum. Chrome ore and manganese, and is a major producer of gold, coal, iron ore, nickel and uranium. And this is substantially in the hands of British companies. Tanzania, another country whose mineral wealth is being principally exploited by British companies, as noted that they are, most of the country's major gold mines are operated by British company Acacia. Tanzanian gas, diamonds, key resource, and they are all British-owned companies. Botswana and Lesotho are overwhelmingly controlled by British companies. In Lesotho, Gem Diamonds operates the country's only producing mine, which is the highest average dollar per carat kimberlite diamond mine in the world. So you need to understand, I'm going to read you the rest, but I'm just stopping to say that Africa is the world leader in so many things where what we as black people produce that the rest of the world are stripping from us.
Yeah.
And when I say us, there are many black people who still to this day say I'm not an African.
I'm not an African.
Well, you who still says you're not an African but you're black, you need to wake up because you really don't know what's going on yet. All right? Because the rest of the world knows who you are.
Okay, but boy, you are sleeping. You're dead to the world if you think, oh, I'm black. I'm Jamaican. I'm not an African.
See the joke of this. Go to America. Go to America and they're going to ask you, oh, you're a black person in America. You are an African American. So even them, they're trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
But the white man in America, he's not called a English American or a German American or a French American. He's just an American.
Yeah.
But you, black man or black woman in the USA, you are an African American. Because they're trying to make sure that you don't forget your African roots. But now let me tell you, educate you about your African roots. Because you see, the problem that we've had, that people have wanted to run away from the Africanness because they only look at the negative side of it. So they're, Africa is poor, Africa is in poverty. So you identify with it from the poverty mindset. Not understanding that Africa is a land of riches and wealth. Literally within the resources of that country are everything that the world needs. And you see, this is the problem, that you've got to wake up and realize who you are. So that when they're trying to make it as if my Africanness is a negativity, no, it's not. Even in Britain, where are you from? You're Caribbean. Your parents came from Jamaica. You came from Jamaica, or from Antigua, or from Trinidad. You are an African Caribbean.
Yeah.
You understand? But people have taken that and twisted it to a negativity because they don't understand that they're just telling me who I am. I'm black and I'm proud, and there's nothing wrong with me being black. It's cool because what I have is what they want.
Yeah.
Literally, physically,
Everything.
Emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally, what I have is what they want. And they'll do anything to get it, even take my life.
Yeah.
So you got to know who you are. So when people, why do they persecute me? Why don't they like me? Blah, blah, blah.
Find
Wake
out.
up and know yourself.
Yeah, find out.
And know what it's all about. Then you'll understand. You'll understand why it's like that.
Leave Antigua alone. He also said every black person all over the world is called by the N-word.
Oh, yeah.
Which is correct. Yeah, so are we not all one people?
We are.
Yeah,
and they try to run away from that.
But that's why you notice. You know those countries where if a white person saw them, they wouldn't really class them as black, but they are black.
Yeah.
Those countries where they class themselves as black, if you notice, do you hear anything about them? Are you seeing them on TV? Do you know what I'm talking? Do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like all of those, like I'm talking about the South Americans, those types of people who know that they're black. And
South Americans, Central Americans.
Yeah, Central America.
Them
all
know.
those places, they see themselves as black, but then what South Americans and Central Americans do they show us on TV? The white ones. Yeah. Or they're a little bit tanned. But they won't even be as dark as me, because then once they become as dark as me, they're Afro-Latina. What is that? What's Afro-Latina? Shut up. Yeah,
that's what
because Latina in the first place means these people are stupid.
Not black.
What do you mean Cardi B is not black?
Some girl on the internet She's chatting about she's not black. But Trinidadian.
I've not
and,
seen, there's a comment there, but I can't.
Yeah, from Israel, right? Israel said, Africa is the breadbasket of humanity, the cradle of civilization. Ethiopia, namely, is the beginning of creation. No one can escape that. Yes.
They can try, but they don't really.
Oh, you see how everything
Yeah,
happens.
not
Let me
like
do that. That's just reminded me of this little thing that I was looking at. My phone.
Go ahead.
And Dominican and Trinidadian is black.
Of course they
Yeah,
are.
they are. That's when people start exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm Dominican, I'm not black. What are you talking about?
But okay.
You're black.
Let me,
Not a black Dominican.
just for the sake of educating some of those there, we do know when we talk about Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and all them kind of places there, we're talking about the fact that we know that Spanish have gone there, right? Took themselves there during the times of slavery and and even before that, from the discovery of those countries so calledly by their explorers, and they began to mix with the indigenous people who were there. But now my question, and I'm going to leave it as a question for those people who have got the big mouths and the big brains, go and look, because I want you to tell me the people who originally populated Spain, what color were they?
Who were they?
Right? Tell me who they were. The people who
Everywhere.
populated Spain and Portugal originally, and who gave it the Renaissance, modernization, whatever you want to call it, civilization, or all of them something. Please tell me what color they were and who they were.
Find out.
All right? Because you got this thing that is white people who did this, and white people who did that, and white people who did the other. You tell me who was in Spain and Portugal by those times. Because all these now Spanish colonies where they try to pretend that they're not black, every one of them is black. That's what you have to know. Right? But even Spain itself, I want to know who was there. Right? That's what I want. I want to know. You tell me who was there. Because let me give you a little clue. When you go to southern Spain, right, everything in southern Spain looks like Africa. Okay? You got palm trees, you got even I'm talking southern Spain.
Yeah, southern.
Right?
Proper
Seville and all them kind of places.
Yeah.
They eat spices, they yum the same food like black people. But it's interesting, isn't it? But something happened to run out the original people who were there. But who were they? For these big mouth and big brain people who think they know better, I'd love for you to tell me.
Yeah.
You can tell me now while we're live, or you can put it in the comments, or come back another time, anytime. Please tell me. You see?
But this is the thing, I think people can't seem to realize that they're
What's
not.
Freddie's?
Not enough is the breadbasket of civilization.
Oh my goodness me. Well done, Freddie.
See, I was really trying to find it. No, I just need to find the actual point of it. Because it was talking about Azania.
Where's this? What's this?
Azania. This is a article that I found talking about the colonization of Africa.
Okay, well, don't worry. Have a look through and you'll see. So I'm still going to bamboozle people's brains a little bit more about the British behaviour. Yeah, because I think, people need to know. I know that lots of people do not want to know, but that's cool. We're still going to talk anyway. So, where was I? Where did I get to? I spoke about Lesotho, didn't I? So listen to this. This is just amazing. Lesotho, the mine which is owned by British, has produced 4 of the 20 largest white gem quality diamonds ever recorded. The mine contains 5 million carats worth of white gem diamonds worth 10.4 billion US dollars. And that's owned by British Mining Company in Lesotho. And they tell you that Lesotho is one of the poorest countries in Africa. I wonder why. I wonder why. Because they've got these evil, nasty English, British, whatever they want to call themselves, men who've gone in there, mining out the country, taking out the resources, giving the people peanuts in wages, putting them in the most disgusting and awful, dangerous conditions, and then leaving the country. You see?
Which gives people some information. Actually.
Yes, the Jews were first called Negra in Portugal and Spain.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Trevor. I didn't even want you to put it there because I wanted them to go away and do their due diligence, so to speak. Because there are a lot of people, big mouth and big brain people, even black people. Trevor, you even know who I'm talking about, one of them, but I'm not naming no names. Big mouth black people who feel like they know, right? But when you come to this kind of conversation, they keep closed because they'll stay off, and then what they'll do, they'll go and do their own live and try to and refute everything that you've said separately. I don't have time for nonsense. You know, we have to make it known who is who and who was where and how and why. Plain and simple.
I keep saying it every week.
Because even that term Negro, which Trevor has said there, where it came, they didn't know that.
No, of course they didn't.
And that's the term that everybody wants to use. Oh, you know, it's we are Negroes. Yeah. Well, okay, you use, but it comes from the Spanish and the Latin tongue anyway, right? It comes from that tongue. But that's fine. But it's the Spanish and the Portuguese. Why they were referring to that term?
That the more civilized Spain and gave them pavements, streetlights, air conditioning, libraries, and universities.
Trevor, shut up and stop giving them the information. I told them to go and do their homework.
Go and research for yourself.
Leave them.
Yeah, because why? How come we already know this?
Yeah, why do we
How come
know?
Trevor already knows this?
Because these people
like
like to argue with me that I'm talking rubbish and I don't know what I'm saying.
And they don't even know.
Right?
They haven't even read an article.
But you know, I'll tell you something. This is just a little bit of these two they kind of know, but this is just a snapshot of information for people who don't know this about me. I have no intention of living in Britain until I die. So I've sat for a while and I've been asking God, where should I go and where belongs to me and so on and so forth. What's that? It could be laughing. Yeah. So now I've been looking at, I've been to Spain, I've been to southern Spain, I've looked around, I've been to Portugal, I've been to the Caribbean, and I'm not saying that the Caribbean doesn't belong to me as well. But I said, I went to southern Spain, and I said, this looks like me.
Yeah.
You see?
Even when you showed me, and he showed me
I said, I'm looking here, I'm looking at the rocks, I'm looking at the trees, the temperature, the spices that are there. I said, hang on a minute. I said, this is my land. So just know that before you see me get too white, well, you won't see me get white anyway, because I'm with diamond being red. So you won't see it get white too quick before it's red. But before you see me get too old and grey and white, I'll be in southern Spain. You understand? And I'm going there deliberately. The white man can't tell me that's his country because it isn't.
It's not your country.
It isn't. And I'll be inviting every black person I know to come and holiday with me when I'm there.
Even though them white people are drilled out the coast of Spain.
Yeah, but they're still holy because it's one of the less populated places in Europe, and it has to stay like that because God now sleep. More black people must know and go to Spain. It's your country. Don't be fooled and let them tell you any rubbish. It is your country. That's why it suits your blood and it suits your skin. And when white people go there, they look like lobster. It suits your skin because it's your country.
They have the blood.
It's your country.
But yeah, that's the truth. And people actually, people who are from there, from Portugal and these places, and they don't know who they are, they say, oh no, like I said before, oh, I'm not black, I'm Portuguese.
Yeah, and what does that mean? I'm
I'm
not black, I'm Portuguese.
Because that's what I said about the Afro-Latina thing.
Yeah,
What they say, oh, it means that you're a Latina, but you're dark skinned, you're brown.
A Spanish man told me, he said, oh, he was looking at himself.
White, brown,
Listen
black.
up. This Spanish geezer was looking at himself, and he's looking at me, looking at me. And he said, there's something similar. I don't know. He said, but always I think I am an Arab. I said, no. I said, where do you come? And his family in Spain come from south in Spain. I said, you're a black man, you're an African. My man is just looking at me. I said, I'm not even joking. I said, me and you are the same, you're an African. That's why you look the way you look.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we said it the way it is and understand, because this is why they want to shut our mouths. Because they want us not to understand who we are, to teach our children, our grandchildren, and the rest of society, hello. We are more than you think we are. And we also know who we are.
Because we're already strong.
Anyway,
no other race. Yeah,
they can't be strong like us.
Nobody else could withstand such intense and extreme levels of oppression, slavery, all these things.
No.
We go through things every single day, almost. Yeah. There's certain people, certain places where they live, there is racism and oppression.
Every day.
Every day. That show, The Talk. The Talk? I don't know.
Yeah, it's about black people's experiences. But there was a bag of mixed race people on there anyway. But also, I don't really appreciate The Talk because it's not a one-time thing.
No, it's not a one-time
The Talk is
and
a
also,
continuous conversation in the black household.
Yeah, of course it is. All the time. And sorry, but yeah, that's another thing that has started to really annoy me, is the representation of black families or black people.
There is none.
On TV.
There is none.
DS 83.
Psalm 83.
Oh, I was thinking you say DS to his comment. Psalm 83, come let us cut them off from being a nation. Yeah, exactly. What was I saying?
Yeah, still in reference
TV.
to what we were saying before.
Yeah.
No representation.
No representation. Yeah, TV. You go to TV, no representation. Or when there is representation, it has a negative connotation to it. It has a negative connotation. Yeah, that's what they do. They say, oh yeah, we've put black people on TV now. Shut up.
Yeah.
But then it's got a negative connotation or stereotypical thing.
Always got to be a stereotypical character.
So, you get someone like, what's her name, on EastEnders, Denise, and their family. Yeah, they're some sort of stereotypical.
Denise the crocker spud.
Yeah, Denise, who's one, always got some scary wig, which I'm not understanding why.
Always with these
Two, she was with these scary ass white man.
No black man.
Yeah, no, they have
one
no
black man
black
that
man.
she was with kidnapped her
It's
and
a crop.
her in the basement.
You see what I'm talking about? So they put her every time with a white man, but then the white man
Does not
it
anyone
never
she
works
would be
out.
with.
Yeah, it never works out.
With Ian, just
Ian
a baby
and
could fit.
That's why I stopped watching all that rubbish. You people have got time to get into English people's mix up and blend up. I don't watch rubbish on television. Because if I watch that, I'll have to break down the TV. I would have to smash it with my hammer. What am I watching that for?
But that's like Hollyoaks right now. I told you.
Hey,
about
listen,
I
Hollyoaks.
can't watch none of them
You know
things.
what's annoying me with that? It's saying it's coming back in the autumn, but you're showing us the adverts, which means you recorded the scenes.
Yeah,
We're
they're
coming back to
recording
something.
them. And the thing is, they're constantly
They're
drilling this same storyline, right?
Can't
And the
watch them.
storyline is that there's a black boy and he's fallen in love with this white man / woman / Baphomet style thing. Yeah. And he loves this man and they're getting married. Right, and first of all, he had a girlfriend, a nice little lovely girl there. She had a few little issues, but she was nice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she was nice. He had a nice little girlfriend. The family that, but no, he wanted the man. Then now the granddad.
Which program is this?
The granddad, right? Because they brought in the granddad.
Oh, yeah.
Black man.
Yeah, he's a black man.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And
That's why I
he's
can't watch
actually
them things.
Yeah, so he's the proper character. I actually like his character, I'm not gonna lie, because it's more realistic. I'm liking his character until we'll see what the next development is.
Like he's meant to go and mash up the wedding.
Hallelujah.
When they decide to.
Two man getting married in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Black man.
Yeah,
One of them
it's a
black
black
man.
man.
Man, tell you something,
And this is what
born
we're
that.
talking about. The granddad said he ain't here for it. Yeah, because the Mitchell, the boy came to us. Yeah, I bet he wants to speak to him.
No,
They don't want to speak to
that's
him.
not
Yeah, that's my all that thing. And it's like, it was his house. Yeah. Then he allowed him to come back to the house, and he was a bit softer, but he still was telling him like, yeah, I still love you, but no, I don't love that.
See, I can't even.
Yeah. And now that I'm looking at the comments online, and you know, people are like, yeah, this is so lovely. Oh, but horrible Mitchell's granddad is gonna come along and mess everything up.
Mm.
And then this is this is then becomes in people's mindset. Yeah, so if somebody is black, older, and a man and a pastor, they're homophobic automatically, or they're a bad person, or they're a nasty person. And it keeps on giving this same like rhetoric.
Well, guess what? I'm a black man and I'm older, and I'm on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, whichever one, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. My name is John Roger Jr. Chambers. Let me tell you so you can know. You see, all of this Batman, lesbian, trans, something, whatever they want to call themselves, bicycle and every other thing, we know none of that. We don't defend that, we don't respect that, and we're not interested in that. And me say so.
Exactly.
Right? Do what you like, say what you like. I don't care. Right? Because when you're ready to talk your talk and chat whatever you're chatting, no one can close your mouth. So you can't close mine either. I don't believe in that, I don't respect that, and I don't want nothing to do with it. And it's simple as that. I'm an artist, and for the English people, that means very plain and simple that as far as I'm concerned, I don't agree with it, it is wrong. For me, it is nastiness, that is your business, whether you're into it, but don't come to me with it. Keep it to yourself and shut your mouth. And it's that.
Basically, his opinion ain't changing. Yeah, and you know, that's only one example of what they show on TV. That's one example of one from one show. And that's only one. And they're doing it on every show. Every show, there's a black person who's an idiot, a horrible person, evil-hearted, nasty, and that's only, you find it whenever they're a main character. More time, if it's not a black person made show where the representation is correct, that's what you're gonna get.
But then here is the issue as well. Listen. Because now that we've kind of swung along to that, it's okay, it's cool. Let's drop on there for a little bit. The representation issue is a serious issue.
It is.
Because we live here in Britain and we're looking at the TV. Those who choose to look at it, right? And you're wondering even sometimes why you even waste your time and energy to look at that stupid box. Because if you even look for an advert and you're saying, oh, so according to them, black people don't use shower gel then.
Yeah.
Because they're only showing white people using shower gel. They're only showing white people using certain creams. They don't advertise the other ones. They're only showing white people doing certain things in adverts, and they don't show us. And if they show a black man, they show him with a white woman.
Yeah.
And mixed race children.
And then they don't even show us all the black fat. Like,
and I look at them and I think, what the hell is wrong with these people? That's the advert side. Yeah. Now then you turn to the program, they've already been saying part of that. But the issue now is the idiot black people. Okay? Stupid black people who now have the ability to make their own movies and their own shows and their own programs. And what do they make? Just go and take your time and Google, search through YouTube for some black British films. It's all drug dealers.
Yeah, this is
gangs,
what I was saying.
Rappers,
drug dealing,
right? Pure foolishness. People coming out of jail.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we know that that goes on, but let me tell you statistically, it doesn't go on any more for black people than it does for white people. So don't fool yourself about that. Like that's the only thing that's going on for black people. That they're selling drugs and coming out of jail and making 7 babies with 19 different women.
Yeah.
Or 19 babies with 7 different women. Right? You know what I mean, right? You understand? But that's all they show. And even black people who can make movies, they're making the same stupid rubbish. Or they make a movie about a sound. Maybe if it's not that, they make a movie about a sound system or a party.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Or something about about like, you know, the person growing up in the time where they're African or they're Caribbean and they're fresh to the country. This is all boring.
We need to do better than that, and black people themselves who are and have the ability to write and to do better and make movies, you need to wake up, man, and do better.
Trevor, you're speaking facts. He said it's not what they make, but what they promote and release.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's what people's eyes get to see. Yeah. Because even the promotion and the release, and if it's the thing of the issue of money, black people need to put their own money and make their own things, and don't go to them and allow them to release it on your behalf and tell you, no, it needs to look like this or look like that, or we can't release it. We only want to release things about guys stabbing each other and about, you know, all of this kind of. If we make one, we want to put yardies in it, and we want to put this. No, there's more to life than that, man.
This is what I'm saying.
But this is the problem, you see, and then that's the representation that you're given. So that's the view that you have about the black man. That's the view that you have about yourself.
Yeah.
It's the view that you have, that they have about you. That's it.
That this is who I am.
This is who you are, and otherwise you can't get better than that, because that's what you're given to hold.
Yeah.
You see, and then otherwise you've got lunatic churches with pastors who are sleeping with every girl in the church. Or they're there telling everybody to drink Ribena at £50 a bottle, and it's the blood of Jesus and all these kind of things. You see, and so these are the problems that we have. That is the representation.
The people listening, or the people that I don't know.
The people who take, the people who spend the £50 and drink the Ribena, right? They are the ones who need to shut up. Because at the end of the day, he can tell me all he wants. Oh, you know, this is special. This is of God. And you have £50 and you can have this bottle. I tell you, that's all right. You pay for the bottle and you drink it because you need it.
I don't need that.
I don't need that, but you clearly do. You know, but this is the problem that we have, and that's the representation that we have. And then, because at the end of the day, it's the agenda that they want, those are the ones that they will go to and interview and put on TV and talk to and talk about, because that's what they want. So that they can then say, see, look at them.
Yeah, because that's what you see. All the black people that are on TV are either coconuts, fools, or there's something wrong with them in their head. They're not even normal people. Yeah, this is every black person.
That's right. And this is what I'm saying. That this is the British agenda. Living right here in Britain, but I'm not fooled by the reality. I'm not fooled by the reality. That is the British agenda, and that's what we're living through on a daily basis. And then people say, well, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't make any difference to me. It doesn't make any difference to you because you're sleeping.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can you elaborate for us what you mean, Roy McNabb? I wouldn't say all to what? What is it that you're saying? No, I wouldn't say all. Just elaborate so I can understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I do tend to try not to make sweeping statements, but if I have done, just tell me what you mean. Because I know all is a sweeping statement, and all doesn't fit everybody everywhere. But I'm not quite sure what you mean, so you'll have to enlighten me a bit
Yeah.
on
Anyway.
that one. But as I'm saying, you know, we need to do better in terms of our understanding of the representation, both for ourselves and for how they want to represent.
We didn't say that either.
What's that? I wouldn't say that all black
He's
people on
talking
telly.
about my comment. because
Oh,
I-
right.
You know,
Yeah,
right,
so
yeah,
you,
right.
it was you that made
Yeah,
that
I
comment.
made the comment. Let me explain why. I'm not saying every single, but of course I'm not talking about every single black person. That's just foolishness. What I'm trying to explain is that
Majority of representation.
the majority of
Often.
representation is foolishness. Often you find it that the people that they do use for the forefront, because let's be honest, there are black elite people that they use in the UK. Well,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, go on,
there
just
are
do
black
it.
people in the UK that are the elite black people, you know, Stormy, etc. Them type people. That's who they use to front their campaigns, to promote their businesses, to do that. That's the people that I'm talking about when I'm speaking about they're badly representing us as a whole, because that's who a lot of
Who they choose to put forward.
yeah, because a lot of like sleeping English people, that's who they're looking to for the black people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, Stormy and all that. Yeah, that's black people. That's who they are. That's what they like. That's what they follow, and that's the point I'm trying to make. It's a
They're pushing a
negative
mentality.
yeah, they're pushing a negative mentality towards us, and I'm not saying every person is they're bad people. I'm just saying that they don't. Why are they not promoting the most positive aspects, right? Because there's loads of black children that are excelling in their studies. They're getting the top of the whole country, and it's not even in the newspaper.
Yeah, we hardly know about such things.
Yeah, so that's the point I'm trying to make.
Anyway, because in a sense, our whole ideology about representation is almost another conversation in itself.
Definitely.
But the reason why we sort of touched on it the way we did is because we're talking about, or had been talking about, you know, the way the British represent themselves in Africa, and then the way that they represent or portray us in Britain.
Yeah.
And that's me having said that every black man is an African, which I know also, maybe I will have another conversation on that in its own separate forum, because there are still many black people who don't subscribe to that and feel that they are something else other than. And obviously we can get into that very deeply as well. I'm not sure what Trevor said there. I'm just trying to
Says the coconuts confuse and conspirators.
Of course, you know, but that's it. That's just it, because you know, the thing is, I've given out some statistical information about the behaviour of the British in Africa, their representation of themselves as being the benevolent overlords. Yes, that's right, Roy. Absolutely. I wish more people would understand that.
Yeah.
And also understand that the plight of Africa as a continent is every black man's plight.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, why I'm even bringing this up the way I am is the fact that many black people who might have either been born in Britain or grown up in Britain came here from maybe the Caribbean, and also many Americans in particular, black Americans, they don't subscribe to being African. No, that's got nothing to do with me. You know, and I know I can talk about Jamaicans, especially and their attitude and behaviour from years ago. Yes, there's some who have changed from that, and we can exempt the Rastaman from that mentality. But the other Jamaicans, the other Jamaicans don't like Rasta, is one. The other Jamaicans, they don't see themselves as African, and they will cuss you out and even knock you out if you tell them that you're African. And I can say that quite categorically, straight, emphatically, I should say even, because I'm married to an African, and I've been questioned by my own Jamaican family, why did you marry an African? And I will not tell you what I told them, but you can just work out for yourself. It wasn't too sweet. right? But this is the issue because people act as if, well, whatever's happening in Africa, we don't care, right? What does it have to do with us? But that's the whole point, because the very reason why some of you are wherever you are in the world or ended up there in the world is because what happened in Africa did have something to do with you. Because that's where your ancestry was, and they ripped you out from there after removing some black people who were already in Europe in places.
Yeah.
You know, and then they want to remove that from history, or they want to twist the history so that you then don't understand. You see, so that you then don't understand, and then you'll say, well, it doesn't matter then, does it? Whatever happens in Africa or whatever is happening doesn't have any effect on me. But you know, here's an interesting thing. I told these two I was going to mention this, and I thought, yeah, we're near to sort of we'll finish a bit early today because we've got some other things to do. So I was vexed yesterday. Let me tell you, vexed. I am a reggae music lover. Reggae is in my blood. I'm a real Jamaican when it comes to my music. I love reggae. I know reggae inside out. I know many reggae artists, Christian and non-Christian. And I know sound system man, and I know a lot about the genre of reggae music. So yesterday I saw a post from David Rodigan, and I said, oh, this is, you know, I thought this is interesting. Yeah, yesterday, trust me, I was vexed. I read David Rodigan's post, and I was like, oh, what is? David Rodigan was, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but, you know, he was saying, I'm really excited, I'm elated, because Jamaica have awarded me the Order of Distinction. So I said, get out of here. Right? They've awarded British white man David Rodigan the Jamaican Order of Distinction for his services to reggae music. So I looked at that and I said, what the hell is wrong with these idiot people? Are they mad? David Rodigan. Now listen, those of you who don't really know as much as I do about reggae, you're going to be a bit stuck here, right? But no, well, that's cool. You can pray, but not now. Got change. Here's the issue. David Rodigan has jumped on the back of black people and promoted David Rodigan. Now they say, oh, David Rodigan did a lot for reggae music, blah blah blah. He did a lot in Britain for reggae. He took up reggae and put it to the forefront and blah blah blah, this and that. He exposed it to many people who wouldn't have heard it. Okay, slightly true, but not exactly correct. Because here's the actual facts about that, right? David Rodigan never ran a sound system. He was never part of anybody's sound system. He was a radio DJ who loved reggae music, and he took up reggae music, and he had a slot where yes, right. Why did it? Right? He had a slot on the radio in London where he had an opportunity to play reggae and showcase our music. Right? He had an opportunity to showcase our music. Now the thing is that in the midst of him doing that over a process of time and years, he became a novelty, right? So there was the novelty of this white man who knew reggae as deeply as he did, understood reggae, he knew the artists and so on and so forth. And so people found it as a novelty. Now also, because he was an articulate man and he was a white man, he had access to some of those artists in a way that others would have not had. And that cannot be denied because that was the white privilege. So, those who don't want to hear what I'm saying now, tune out by all means. because I'm not going to shut my mouth, because I'm telling you, yesterday I was vexed about it, and I'm still vexed even now. Because I cannot believe, I'm not even going to start naming the names of people who they could have given that order of distinction to, especially if they're going to talk about sound system reggae. David Rodigan shouldn't even spit him out of your mouth. Don't let me even get more vexed than I am already. I could not believe, and they're giving him the order of distinction. And then at the same time, just a couple of weeks ago, they're busy there making a high court order in Jamaica that if you're a Rasta, you can't go to school if you have locks. And I said, are these people? I said, what the hell is wrong with Jamaica? What is wrong with Jamaica? You're giving a white man the order of distinction, and then you're telling Rasta man, you can't go to school if you're wearing locks. And you can't see colonialism inside of that.
Right then.
In fact, I'm not even saying another word before I lose my head. Rasta. Imagine. No, sir.
Yeah, Israel. And they use Rasta image for the tourism. Real talk. Oh, because everyone loves Bob
See,
Marley.
I couldn't believe it.
Rasta.
They're busy telling Rasta you can't wear your Rasta and go to school. They can now bar you from school, and then they're giving a white man the order of distinction for reggae music.
Something ain't right.
No, sir. Black people need to wake up, and Jamaicans, they're not even sleeping. It's like them gone, them dead.
Yeah,
they don't know what to call it.
Need to resurrect.
They need resurrection power.
Yeah. Nah, for real. Because there's a lot of problems with them, and that's when you know people say, oh yeah, I'm a yardie. I'm a yardie. What does that mean?
Yeah, kind of foolishness that they're doing there. Right? And there's no sensible person who understands reggae who will be clapping their hands for Radigan. Making quite about his business. No, sir. No way. No. That was so wrong. Especially when this, because you see what happens is that those people who are asleep in their little box, right, they will have seen that Radigan bit and they'll go, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Because they will have not even seen the bit about what they're doing to Rasta in Jamaica in 2020. Because this is my thing that I'm saying. I'm not a Rasta, right? But at the end of the day, I understand the philosophy, the ideology, and all the rest of it that goes with it. And hear what? This is 2020, and that's how you're behaving, right? That's how you're behaving, and then you're giving a white man the Jamaican order of distinction. Something is wrong with the Jamaican government.
Yes.
Right? And we didn't need to even look there. Ask about the behavior of them with the Chinese. And that is another story again. Where the Chinese government and the Jamaican government are concerned. Jamaican government is completely licky with the Chinese.
That's why, once again, like I said earlier, get the shops there.
And whoever doesn't understand the term licky well, sorry.
Yeah.
Right? But this is what I'm saying. China want to rule Jamaica, and it's like they're just allowing them to come in there and dictate what's going on.
You see, the same story as Africa, and they're allowing them in because of these corrupt leaders. See how we circled back now. Everything can come back around to the original point.
You see, because this is what I'm saying, and this again is all because somebody. That's what I said. That the government is too licky, right? And for those who don't understand what that means, in the English version, they are corrupt, right? Because they're getting something out of it, you see? And that's why they're doing it. So they turn the blind. Oh, we didn't see what the Chinese did there. We don't know. So the Chinese are taking over little by little. They're going in Jamaica, they're buying land, and then they're mining it, and they want to go to places where the land has been preserved, and they want to mash down the land. Yeah, you see, but they need to understand. Not every Jamaican is an idiot. And there's many Jamaicans who are telling them try it and see if you won't die.
Because this was when coronavirus first started coming around. There was Jamaicans coming online saying about that they want the Chinese out.
They want them out from
They
Jamaica
don't want
because
them
they're
there.
not stupid. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Yeah,
Mashing up the country.
Like you're there, then they don't help the economy.
No,
They're not doing nothing.
They're there to mash it up.
They're there to help themselves and themselves.
Because hear this, and this ain't no joke. Because that's why you got to understand it. You go in a Chinese supermarket in Jamaica, and I saw this myself. You go in a Chinese supermarket in Jamaica, and they're walking around watching you, following you around, watching because you're black. They're there.
And they're in black man.
And they're calling Jamaicans in Jamaica black bastards.
And that country.
I'm a
If you
Christian.
go to Jamaica, you know.
Listen,
everybody is black.
I'm a Christian, but I'm telling you now, God must have told them don't try me with that.
You already know.
Because I'm telling you, you don't know and you don't want to know what I would have done to them little Chinese people inside their shop if they start calling me black bastard in there and I'm in Jamaica. No, sir.
Don't give you a strength, give you patience, give you strength on that.
Yeah.
Right? They have to know because them kind of behaviors, those kind of behaviors are where the problem is. Right? Those kind of behaviors are where the problem is. They've gone into Jamaica and they want land, they want to take over, they want to have shops, and then they want to be telling, and then they want to be going on like they want to bring their own Chinese people to come and work for them, and they don't want to employ the people from Jamaica.
But they want you to buy off their.
See, but you must buy things, right? And then
from your shop.
only their Chinese people must work there.
It's foolishness, man.
Yeah,
No,
and
you
they
can't,
can have a shop there for 20 years and they wouldn't even look to your shop that's next door
No,
for even 1 second.
and that's why I'm saying people have got to wake up.
Get out over there, mate.
The same thing in Africa,
Yeah.
which is just like a bigger version of Jamaica. It's the same behavior.
It is.
It's the same behavior.
Yeah.
It is. Listen, they make them build the highway and instead of hiring local Jamaicans, they flew out from China to work.
That's what I'm talking about, Kaveen. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They flew their own Chinese workers. Now, I remember the issue when the issue came out. The people were asking the question, what's Roy said, the problem?
Yeah, they didn't take anything, we literally gave it.
Well, that's right. Jamaica gave it to them. And that's what I'm saying again. Maybe for those others who don't understand when I'm saying the government of Jamaica is doing licky. That's what I'm talking about. Because they're the one, they just gave it to them. They just said, okay, come. Because at the end of the day, they're signing terms and conditions. And the Jamaican government are agreeing with them.
Yeah.
They fly in their Chinese people. So the Chinese man, them are coming in, they're doing the work, they're being paid Jamaican money and taking the Jamaican money and laughing in your face. And then Jamaican people are sitting there without work.
Yeah.
And there are capable men in Jamaica who could have done the work and they don't want them.
But this is what I'm talking about.
They even
And then
call
they'll
it the
have their
Beijing
That's right, they called it the
have their-
Beijing Highway. That's what I'm
Same thing
saying.
that they're doing in Africa. They're
Right?
doing it
And
in
then they
Jamaica
drop,
as
then
well.
the dirty Chinese man them are staying there and making 5 and 6 picnic and leaving them in Jamaica.
Yeah. Right there.
Right? And then saying, oh, I don't know.
And then that.
And you ask the girls, they don't even
no longer
ask the girl, which one is the dad? I don't know because they all look the same. And they give out lying fake names. You can't even, there's nothing. You see, and this is behavior is the same. Kenya is the same story. There was a story there in Kenya, Chinese restaurant in Nairobi. Nairobi, for those who don't know, is the capital of Kenya, right? And it's full of people who are African, black. There's some other people there as well, but it's full of black people. And obviously, it is Kenya, it is Africa, right? So you bring your Chinese restaurant there, very nice, it's cool. There's no problem with that. But here's the joke. The Chinese restaurant, they have a Chinese chef. So now there was a worker who works in the kitchen, he came late. A Kenyan, African black man. So the chef now took a cane, C-A-N-E, cane, piece of stick, for us who know it like that, right? And he's beating the Kenyan worker with the stick. He told him, bend over. And my idiot brother is bending over and allowing the Chinese chef to beat him with the stick. Now,
I'll show you what's bending
listen
over.
up. Somebody filmed it. Somebody filmed it and it went viral. As a result of it, as you can imagine, it's now got to the government and they now started going crazy and said if the government doesn't do something about this, they better know what's going on, right? So now, as a result of that, good on them that they did act on it because people went crazy about it, saying how in the world can they Chinese come into Kenya and they're beating Africans like as if they think that they're their slave master. So that Chinese chef was deported. And that Chinese restaurant was closed down.
Yeah.
Now there was another one before that in Kenya, where they said that they're not serving Africans in their restaurant.
So who are they there for then?
They're serving their own people and white people. White people. They're serving the tourists and their own people.
And their own people. This is what I mean when I say they don't come to your country.
For
They
you.
don't come for themselves. Yeah.
Right, but I'm glad to tell you that nowadays in Nairobi there's some militant youth there, and they said they'll see if they don't burn down that place.
Yeah.
Right.
So
they had to close as well. They had to close as well. But you see, these behaviours are too often overlooked. I think I might have mentioned it some long time ago, but I'm going to mention it today because this is relevant. Because we're talking about the behaviour of the British and the Chinese in Africa anyway, and about the corruption that goes behind it. There is a guy, a Kenyan white man, called Graham Bell. He was born in Kenya to British parents. So from that point of view, technically, from that point of view, he is Kenyan, but his family, otherwise, they're British and they're white. So anyway, he was born there.
Kenyan white.
So he was born there in Kenya, in Nairobi, and had a restaurant, which the restaurant was doing pretty well. It's called Kengeles, which is Swahili. It's bells.
Oh, that's
So
his name.
and that's his name. So he called the restaurant Kengeles. Bells. So the restaurant, they had a few branches in Nairobi, and it's doing pretty well. Sort of burgers and stuff, and some indigenous food and so forth. And a place where young people used to go because it had that sort of type of vibe for younger people. So this dirty white man now decided that he likes young Kenyan women.
Well, of course, that's what
Girls, in fact, I should say, not even women. Girls. So now the families are so he goes now to people and he's literally buying their children, their teenage daughters. He's buying them from them. So there are families there who are literally selling their daughters to him for a couple of weeks at a time, and the man is abusing these girls. Ladies even who wanted to work as waitresses in his store, in his restaurant, were told that he's interviewing them, and part of his interviewing technique is he has to be feeling up the girls, right? So these young girls, 18, 19, 20, whatever, those ones, he's feeling them up before they become a waitress. Younger ones than that are being sold to him, brought directly to his house, which is in a gated property, so nobody can see who's in and what they're up to, and etc. And he's having sex with these young girls. So now, when people got the gist of it and started to make noise about it, they said he should be arrested and blah blah blah. People stopped going to his restaurant. So Kengeles as a business started going down. But now, at no time was this guy jailed or arrested or anything, because he's got plenty of money, and in Kenya corruption rules, right? So he's paid whoever he needs to pay, and that story is just left where it is. Now here the joke of it, the thing that angered me the most about it, is that later on KFC said that they want somebody to have the master franchise in Kenya. The master franchise comes from South Africa for Africa.
Yeah.
So now they wanted to branch out to Kenya, so they said, okay, we want somebody there to have the master franchise, so that every other KFC that comes out in Kenya will come under him. So although they're independent, but the franchise comes out from the master franchise. So now guess who's the master franchise for KFC? Ken Gellis. So now he's got more money than what he had before, because now KFC is running things in Kenya, as you could imagine.
He's shown what
KFC is all over the place. And I can guarantee you that there is a government minister who is part of that and was part of that deal and was paid off, and that's why that Ken Gellis has got that.
100.
And this is what I'm talking about, that instead of these black people saying, hang on a minute, you say you're a Kenyan, but you're a dirty white man and you're a paedophile.
Yeah.
Shut up and keep quiet. Let us work this out between us. And if you're going to have a part of it, you have the less part, and we have the bigger part. But no, it will just be some politician who was paid off to sign off on it and agree to it, and that's the result. And this is what's happening. All across Africa, it's been stripped like that.
Yeah.
It's been stripped like that because of this issue of corruption. That there are too many corrupted politicians and leaders across Africa and the West Indies and so forth. And they are the ones then who allow the country to be held in a stranglehold. That even when you would think this deal will allow the country to prosper, it won't. It won't. Some things that would have looked as though they would be prosperous for the country, they're not. China, they have I think it's 200 billion trade between China and Africa. A lot of money. But then Africa is also heavily indebted to China. And what people don't know is that when they make those agreements with many of those corrupt leaders, they've got these written agreements that they will take over ports, they will take over airports and different things. They will take over police forces and blah, blah, blah. And if the payments are not made, this is what they're doing. And it's literally what they're doing in Africa. You see? Because they're there for financial gain. They're not there to support Africa and to make Africa better. They are there to strip and take out the resources of Africa.
You know why? Because they're doing it to themselves as well. Because that's another thing that I saw, that China are doing it to themselves. Yeah, the amount of exports of all of the the resources. Yeah, all the resources are going out to next country. So like to us, to America, to Africa, and all them places. And everything there in China is that's crusty. That's what then the poor people and the other people then that's what they get given. All the crusty mashed down stuff after they've sold off all the nice things to us lot. Yeah, why do you think that? Look at the little Chinese supermarkets that we have here. There's loads of them now. Yeah. And there's only more coming along.
Chinese cash and carry.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Chinese cash and carry. And it don't matter now. It don't matter what city you're in, there will be a Chinese little supermarket shop for you to go to, yeah, for you to get your things and to get your food. And they're sending over that stuff all the time. And none of these places are running out of any money or businesses. Wow. Yeah, but over there in China, people are suffering. Yes, especially the poor people. Because I know people don't really talk about it a lot. You know, people don't really see about the Chinese poor people a lot, do they?
No.
They're actually the ones that are doing all the farming in the fields all day, all long, and all this stuff. And they're the ones that are black as well. That's why they're not letting you see them. They don't have no money for no chin teeth. And they're in the sun every day, so they're looking like that. Yeah, so what are they then? Are they still white? I actually wonder, what do Chinese, what do they call them? What do they call themselves? Because they're not white people, are they? But according to them, they're not us. Yeah. So I actually do wonder, what do they actually call themselves? They don't want to be called yellow. or do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Red,
but
or,
we won't know, will it? Because those real black ones, we don't hear or see or
talk
know
to
anything
them.
about
Yeah,
them.
we don't know anything about them. That's
Just know
the
them
problem.
ones that their media decides to show you.
Yeah, the white ones.
Yeah.
The ones who have got the white blood mixture into them, or
They're
bleach
sharp
off.
ones.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because that's why, like Thailand and all the places, you see people are a lot more dark skin looking, because obviously the bleaching is not as prominent as it is in China. They haven't made it like a big thing in society as much, have they?
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. that little comment there about the supermarkets. It's serious. It's serious. Corruption and the colonialism is
Hardcore.
yeah, it's hardcore. And I think everybody, people know that China's bad though. It's like
I don't think they know enough.
yeah,
They
exactly.
don't know enough.
That's exactly. They don't know enough. They think
Nobody's not researching that.
no.
When you tell them apparently
Then you're wrong. Yeah. Anything I tell people, oh well, you do know China are doing this, or oh well, you do know this country are doing that. No, they're not. So where am I getting this information from then? My bum. I not understand. Like, did I just think of? Oh, yeah. Let me think of a fake.
It's not for them when you tell them where you got it from and tell them to go look.
Then there's no reply.
Why you clapping the thumbs?
Yeah, because then it becomes they don't want to give no reply. They don't want to give no response.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I can say. Yeah, because Instagram, they're the worst for it. People on Instagram are the worst for it. Yeah. Always, you write a little comment and it comes with,
What's that?
first, Israel said the Dinka and Bosnian tribes in Africa is where the Chinese people come from.
That's right, yes.
Yeah,
that's
these
true.
tribes are the ones that have,
Yeah, slanted eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
and the brown skin. Yeah. And you see, and you can find this. You can find them. I've seen these pictures, and they look exactly like Chinese people. Then
Roy,
they said,
yes, Roy.
Yeah, Roy speaking facts. The issue is money talk and yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. China know what they're doing, and that's why they export out everything, because they're selling it off to get lots of money to then control all the other countries that ain't got no money and rely on their resources and their things that they've not even their resources, but their products actually. Let's say people rely on China's products heavily, and like Angelica said, go turn anything up. What's it say? Made in China, made in China, made in China, even clothes, made in China, made in China. Yeah, all these things. You get your rice, China, this, that, China. That's all it is. China then go and use this money to support their communist agendas. Yeah. And I don't think people still, once again, know your history, learn your history. Please. Yeah, please. Let me read that thing.
You don't know who you are.
Let me read this in Azania. Is that how it's pronounced?
What's that?
Azania. I don't know if it's Azania.
Yeah, Azania.
Yeah, Azania. Yeah, so,
That's weird. Stands for something when you report.
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Exactly that. That's the same. Stand for something in your culture.
As it's saying here, basically, this is an article that I found. That, you ain't gonna find this on Google, just to let you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find this on Google. Yeah, because I just happen to.
You can enlighten people that there are other search engines.
Yeah, you need to use like DuckDuckGo. That's the best one for me.
If you want to actually find things, don't use Google.
No,
Google's hard on
they
the
censor it. They're in partnership with China already.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know.
And Dr. Bill.
Yeah, and Bill Gates, who's also once again in partnership with China. Tired.
Yeah, China's coming up quite a lot.
They're coming up
in every kind of conversation because they're looking to be a world superpower.
Yes,
that's what they want. They
You
want
know?
to take over the world.
And I'm just boiling to death in this
I know,
office
it's
here.
so
Boy,
So
not that I'm complaining, because
So this article says, the name Azania or Azanian civilization has a long history. I'm sure maybe some people who know about these things might already know who this civilization is anyway, but it's an old African civilization, and it's in books such as Old Africa Uncovered, and another book called The Lost Cities of Africa by Basil Davidson. Yeah, so in this it says that Azania, like Kush, Mizraim, Egypt, Kemet, Ethiopia, means black man's country or continent. Yeah. So, river, you see, in 1930, excavations at Mapungu, I cannot say that. Mapung, Mapungu, Mapungubwe. Mapungubwe, yeah. In 1930, excavations at Mapungubwe in the area of Limpopo River revealed skeletal remains of people that became known as ancient Azanians. These Africans were also referred to as Kushites or descendants of Kush. Yeah, so of course, the offspring of colonialists and their neo-colonialist collaborators hate the name Azania because it's not their master's name. Because if people knew that these were the real names and meanings of places and Africa and the country, then they would understand already from the name the power and who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you know that that place is called the black man's land or black man's country, there wouldn't be no white people coming in there, would there be? There wouldn't be letting no colonialism happen, would they? Because they'd be saying, nah, this is our country, this is our black man's country. But I think too many people are, oh, we need the white people to save us. Too many people have got this mindset.
And now the Chinese.
Yeah, we need the Chinese because the white people have done bad. Now we're going to turn to the Chinese to save us. Save yourselves. Save yourselves. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm passing the mic back now. Save yourselves.
But listen, here's an interesting bit of information that the 5 countries in Africa with the largest current Chinese debt are Angola, Ethiopia, Zambia, Congo, and North Sudan. And the totals are the following. Angola is 25 billion, Ethiopia 13.5 billion, Zambia 7.4 billion, Republic of Congo 7.3 billion, and North Sudan 6.4 billion. Right? But the thing is that China themselves have said that they are not really bothered. And Kenya is 6.5 billion in debt to China. They've said that they're not really bothered about that being repaid because they can still survive as an economy without it. So if China, right? I mean, I don't know what that amounts to. I said what 6.5 billion Kenya. Let's just go backwards. Kenya was 6.5 billion. Angola 25 billion. Ethiopia 13.5 billion. Zambia 7.4 billion. Congo 7.3 billion.
Oh yeah, they don't want this money.
North Sudan 6.4 billion. So that's 66.1 billion. Now, China have said that they're not bothered if they don't get back that money.
Whatever.
And I'm stating this also in response to Roy's comment that China have plenty of money and this is the issue. Because it is the issue that they've said that, because if you think of it logically, okay, China have looked into Africa and they've said, oh, you're poor, or it seems that you're poor. We want to help you, but we're going to help you by putting you more into debt. That's not help, is it?
No, it's not.
So by us giving you a loan, which you then have to pay back, or if you don't pay back, we want something else in return. And now this is the issue that China have said they're not bothered if they got the money back or not. Why are they not bothered whether they get the money back or not? Because they've actually already made a deal which is not disclosed to the public that they're going to get something else in return. So this is now where there are issues, and if you go and look up this information for yourself, you can find it out. That right now, one of the places where there is a big argument going on, which is Nigeria, because Nigeria is in debt to China and they're not paying the debt. Now, I will tell you, if you don't know, the reason why Nigeria is not paying the debt is not because Nigeria can't afford to pay the debt, but because Nigeria is the most corrupt country on the face of the earth. That is the reason why they are not paying the debt. Now, China are very, very well aware that Nigeria is the most corrupt nation on the face of the earth. They're very aware of that. Yes, we know, Sarah. We know they own the port in Mombasa. So China are very aware of the level of corruption in Nigeria, which is why they are now very interested, because they've put them in that position where they will soon hold them under a barrel. Okay, so they know, okay, you're not paying the debt and you're acting as if you can't pay it. But we know how rich Nigeria is. We know the oil and other things, and we know that the corruption level of the oil companies in Nigeria. The Chinese know how they will make money from Nigeria.
Yeah, they do.
So if you use that as an example, then to look at all the other African countries where they are owed several billion, then you know that the same thing applies. They will look for those primary prestige resources, and they will latch onto them. All right, and take claim of them in one way or another, even if it's only profit sharing. Because if you remember, those who listened to this earlier, and some of the figures that I gave out to you, they're going to get more money from that than they would even in servicing the loans.
Yeah.
So this is the real reason why China are so busy building roads in Africa, going in and building bridges here and building ports and railways and other things, because they want to get their foot under the table and get their toes into the ground, so to speak, so that they can then say, we knew you weren't going to pay the loan, and now you owe us, and that's exactly where we wanted you.
So what's the most corrupt thing? Who's the most corrupt thing?
You wouldn't say Nigeria is the most corrupt by a long shot.
By a long shot, you know.
By a long shot.
A long
Roy, give me the statistics then.
Go ahead.
Bring the statistics to the table, man, because I'm telling you, you might be very surprised. I don't generally speak too many things here without having some kind of knowledge.
I don't know.
The most
No, it's
corrupt,
not.
the most corrupt. But it was, like I said, that documentary was all about the most corrupt city in the world, Lagos.
Right then.
Yeah,
Because
it's
Lagos-
about to become the biggest city.
Lagos is the most corrupt city in the world, and that's not even arguable.
Yeah.
And Lagos is the capital of Nigeria.
Yeah. Somebody knew what to.
But if you've got statistics, Roy, to prove me wrong, please bring them to the table
Yeah.
anytime, now
That's
or
why
even
I'm asking
later.
which one.
Because I don't, like I said, I am happy to be corrected wherever I'm wrong. I am very, very happy to be corrected wherever I'm wrong, because this is a sharing exercise, you know. But the truth of the matter is, the most corrupt city in the world is Lagos City, and that is not even debatable.
That's why they.
And it is that is, it's not the actual capital of Nigeria,
No, it's not.
right? But it's the capital.
Yeah. And
We know it's not the actual
about to become
capital.
the biggest city in the world.
So we know that, and you know, the issues.
Yeah. It says, I know, but who makes those programs possible? But the thing is, I understand what you're saying, Roy, but in the program, it wasn't. In the program, the presenter, first of all, wasn't white. Not the presenter, the reporter. So the reporter wasn't white, first of all. He was some black guy or something like that. Second of all, they weren't doing anything but reporting and showing you what was really there. So they weren't going to a place, you know, they weren't fabricating anything. They were showing you the area boys, which I'm sure you know about who the area boys and what goes on there. They were showing you the politicians and the corruption, basically, and how, oh, you've got to pay people this, you own a shop, you must pay this area boy this much money because this is his area. Even though he don't own your shop, you don't pay no rent in, and he ain't no government official or nothing. Yeah, same as the road tax. That's getting collected like it's a pocket money when it should be collected officially. Why is it getting collected like? Because there's corruption. Like, so the documentary wasn't giving like a false light. It was showing you what was actually exactly what was going on. That's how they were portraying it. There was even a man who didn't even want to speak to the cameras because he knew that he was corrupt and he knew what they were trying to, the questions that they were trying to ask
couldn't
him.
answer.
Yeah, he could, because they asked him, oh, where's the money gone for this? Where's the money gone for that? Whoops. And he's chatting about, oh, he don't speak English and all this. Yeah, he don't speak English and all this stuff. And when they went in his yard, he's got about 10,000 Italian shoes. Think America. How much does wars cost? How much?
Who's that now?
That's what Roy said. How much do wars cost? Think about America. I understand what
Oh,
you're
no,
saying.
but yeah, we're not
but
talking
we're
about
not
it from that
talking
point of view.
about that point of view. We're talking about the corruption inside of the city, inside of Nigeria, internal
Corruption again, which is
not colonial corruption.
which is towards their own people.
Yeah, towards their own people. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
them things there. I can't even remember
Right, let me
now, but
so let me kind of answer that then if I can.
yeah.
So what we're saying, clearly, if you look around the world and you look at countries in terms of what Roy said there about wars and warmongering and so forth. Yes, we know UK, we know USA. They'll come far high up the list in that respect. But what we're talking about is not that. We're talking about the level of corruption in terms of the general infrastructure. Because although Britain will have its own form, style, and level of corruption, which we know exists in many avenues. But let's say, for instance, if a portion of money is allocated in Britain to fix a road, that road will be fixed. It will have the correct amount of tarmac, and it will be fixed properly. What we're talking about is the fact that the countries in Africa, and it's many, and maybe even most, if there is money allocated to fix a road, most of that money will be eaten, and the smallest amount will be left to fix the road. Now, those are absolute facts. They're not suppositions. They are absolute facts. I can give you my own even personal experience of that. I have lived in Africa for 4 years, and obviously I know about Africa otherwise. But these are facts. These are not just stories. And that type of thing within the British infrastructure will never happen. We have a National Health Service in Britain. There's probably, I don't know the exact figure of how many there are in Britain at the moment. It's probably, I don't know, 70 million, something like that. We have a National Health Service in Britain where people are removed a portion of money from their wages, which is your, what's the word it's called? Not the tax, the other one. National insurance.
Yeah, national insurance.
And your national insurance contribution goes towards the National Health Service, and so forth, right? In Kenya, for instance, giving you an example of one African country, they have the NHIF. A massive amount of money went missing from the NHIF. Billions.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. And until now, yeah, national insurance, yeah. And until now, nobody knows where that money in the National Health Fund of Kenya has gone, because a politician chose to eat that money. It is gone. When I lived in a certain area in Kenya, people wanted to fix the road because where I lived, you'd come off the main road and you would drive through an estate and you come onto a road which I'm telling you, unless you've been to Africa, you will have never seen a road as bad as that in your life. Even in Jamaica, you don't see roads what look like that. Right? This road it is a joke. You have to be some kind of serious driver to be able to drive that road. Right? To be able to maneuver the potholes and to go down and come up and not get stuck even. All right? And there are people who live in the apartment block where I live. And these are people who, if you like, would be classified as, middle class or whatever you want to say. People who have a bit of money. They wanted to fix the road so that they could drive on a decent road to go all the way out to the main.
Yeah.
So the owner of the building, the one who actually built those apartments, also wanted to fix the road and had begun to make plans to fix the road. He had brought men and started to fill some of the potholes, ready to do the next work to fix. Now, those corrupt politicians turned around and said, if he fixes the road, he will be fined because he has to pay a levy. And he said he was going to, remember, the owner who built those apartments said he was going to fix the road with his own money. The government said if he fixes the road, they must pay them first.
Why?
Right? Because otherwise, then afterwards, who's going to maintain the road? And they start with all their songs and dance and stories and all of this. And then told him, no, there's money allocated to fix the road. And I'm telling you, they've never fixed the road. They've just left the road. When it rained, and it rained really bad, for people to get from one side to the other, if you didn't have a vehicle, when you had a vehicle, you could drive through on one side, but to go across on the other side, there was a guy who actually literally was stood there, and people were paying him. I think they were paying him like 20 shillings, and he will carry them on his back across to get to the other side.
Oh my God!
That's how much water there was. He had to wade them through the water, right, for them to get to the other side. And this is an area where the road could have been fixed.
Yeah.
And the government, because of corruption, and this is what I'm talking about when I say about the fight for Africa, the reality. Now we've been like 2 hours and so we're done. We come back again with something else next week, but not this one. And it's not because we by any means exhausted the topic, but just because we want to talk about something else.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to everyone who's joined us, and thanks to those who will watch this later on. And as I said, you can make any comments underneath. Thanks, Roy. We enjoyed your participation. Very, very grateful for the comments.
Yeah.
And to everyone else, Trevor and others,
Yeah.
it's a blessing. See you next time. God bless.